We're going to ease it down a bit and move from politics to fashion, and more importantly, how economic development and job creation interfaces with fashion. Of course, the presiding officers have been calling on members of parliament to actually procure and wear local when they attend this opening of parliament. The chief marketing officer of Brand South Africa, she now joins me now. Please step a bit closer. Yes. So thank you so much for your time. Basically, I mean, the issue of procuring locally and wearing locally is something that has been talked about for some time. Do you think that South Africans are finding traction in that call?
Well, as proudly South African, we sent out a call to the parliamentarians, to the guests that are going to walk the red carpet today, to ask them and use their voices as people who are very influential and people who can to spread the localization narrative. And so, you know, had you asked me this question 10 years ago or 8 years ago, I would have said we've struggled as proudly South African, but now, you know, it's better. We are better off than we ever were in the past, and it makes sense to collaborate with Parliament to push that narrative. We've seen a change where there's a bigger appreciation of local procurement. An argument was the ministers and everybody who's invited here, they would have had to go buy something to wear, and all we're saying is that they, you know, when they made those purchasing decisions, to make those purchasing decisions in favor of local product. And we saw it earlier this year at SONA. We're hoping to see it again today at OPA, you know, where ministers and guests make a conscious decision and heed our call.
How can we ensure that it's not just window dressing? Because today they may heed the call, but when they attend other events, they are wearing these international brands. How to make sure that there's no window dressing?
Their conscience, and we can only do that and speak to your patriotism as a South African, and remind you with the touch points that we use as proudly South African, just how a difference you make when your purchasing decision is in favor of local product. I mean, David Tlale, who made my dress, it's not only about him. He is the creative mind behind the brand David Tlale, but he's got a seamstress. He's got somebody who sources the buttons for your suit, somebody who sources zips, somebody who does the design. There's logistics behind his business. And contributes to the value chain of the clothing, textile, footwear, leather industry, which is a very labor-intensive industry, employs a lot of South Africans. The value chain is massive, but households.
But let's talk about the value chain itself. Has government done enough to actually develop the industry in terms of ensuring that the supply chain industry is also up to a level where South Africans can actually start heeding to the call of wearing locally?
I think government has done something, but it's not enough. It's a push. It is a constant push for anybody to realize their objective and to get to a comfort space and say, we've done well. You've got to push and push and push. But I have to say that government is also, walking the journey with us, in the sense that, I mean, we know now that from the 1st of July, the new laws and policies around taxing, online, platforms such as Shein and Timu, to try and deal with the battles that the clothing, textile, footwear, leather sector has been facing for the longest time. So there are, a few inroads, but our job is bigger than this. It's bigger than just us proudly South African being here all the time at events of this magnitude to remind all of us, irrespective of who we are, whether you're in the private sector, the public sector, ultimately, you and I, my brother, are consumers.
All right, thank you so much, Happy maKhumalo Ngidi. She's the Chief Marketing Officer for Brand South Africa. Of course, giving a call to all the local MPs to be wearing local, to support the local industries.